Hi, this is Mansions and Monsters, Part 4. Now, this time we're going to do a water dragon. And now I'm going to start out the same way I did with the Kraken. Going to have some waves, and I'm going to do this one pretty fast, because we're going to go into more detail with water dragons later. I'm going to have a little tail coming and poking out of the water. Then I'm going to have part of the dragon body, like a rainbow, pop up. And then I'm going to come up and bring out the head. Now, we know from our school that water dragons have all sorts of horns. They've got a forehead, got a mouth, sort of like a dog, a little bit, but you know, because they've got that strong jaw. It's a little different than a snake. It's more like a dog. And we've got scales. And instead of doing sucker pods like we did with the Kraken, we're going to just draw the scales going on the underside of the body. And then we've got different kinds of scales on the top. And again, you don't have to draw every single scale. And you're like, hey, Miss Brown, that's kind of like the roof shingle. Yeah, we can change up the shape and have some fun. It matters that you use the same shape throughout, but if you wanted to do arrows type scales, that works good. So whatever type of scales you do, just do the same kind throughout. Don't do like I just did and change them up. Make sure you use the same kind. And that works out pretty well. Like, but Mr. Brown, what if I don't want to make it just kind of flat? What if I want to make my water dragon kind of more 3D? Because I've got my island here and another island here, and what if I want to make a water dragon look like it's going from one place to another? Well, I just draw the tail first, and then slightly smaller, I'll add the loop, little rainbow, and if that rainbow gets smaller every time, that's okay. And then we can add waves. So notice I've got higher up on the page with each one, and I got smaller. So if you get taller on the page, higher up on the page, and you get smaller, it makes it look like it's getting further away. So just like if I draw a house on this island, the same size house on this island that's further away is going to have to be smaller. Wait, but you just said it was the same size. Yeah, I know. But anytime we make it though, if these two houses were identical, if they're twin houses, or they kind of look like chicken coops to be honest, but if they're twin houses, this one that's further away is going to be smaller. Just like if you had a twin brother or sister, if they're across the room, they look smaller to you, even though they're not really not. All right, so last but not least, let's draw a crab. Now, the thing with crabs is you always think about the claws. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to draw two kind of U-shapes. You're like, Mr. Brown, that doesn't look like claws at all. Well, it does if we go back in and add a really big circle, half circle on that side, and a kind of small half circle on the other. And then do the opposite the other way. Really big on the out, small on the end. And then we're just going to kind of create little armor plating for these crab claws. Kind of creating little connecting joints for the crab. And then we're going to add some eyeballs. And we're going to add a shell that goes behind those eyeballs. It comes out to the side here. And I'm going to kind of make that shell come up across. And we're going to add some mouth parts. Maybe even some more mouth parts. And then a bottom shell. And then we just need to add legs, which I just like to use rectangles for crab legs, and we need to add at least 4 on each side. They're going to be a little different shapes, and they're going to be some different positions. Some of them are going to be behind other ones. And that's just because that's how they walk. And I think actually we only need 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could be wrong there. If you guys look up a picture of a crab, remind me how many legs we got to add on it. There we go. Now, if I want to, I can make it monster crab by adding little spikes. There we go. So, and like, oh, with his eyes, he doesn't look like a monster. He just looks like a little crab. Maybe we can make something that makes him look like a monster. So we could decide its scale. Either I could draw like a tiny little seashell next to him, and you think, oh, he's just a little bitty crab, not gonna harm anybody. Or I could be like, here is a tiny little car that he's crushing with his feet. Oh no, he's a giant crab. He's gonna pinch buildings with his claws. So, I mean, scale is important for monsters. If you want a tiny little crab, we can add a seashell. If we want a giant crab, we can add little cars or boats or whatever we want to there. So maybe, yeah, kind of the beach that he's on, and there's some smashed up cars, and here's a tire. Maybe a beach umbrella. There we go, giant crab. Alright, that was part 4. Have a great day. I don't think we're going to add a part 5. So, but if you come up with your own monsters, you're definitely willing to add them into the drawing. Have a good day.